So let's talk about those very important independent voters, expected to have a dramatic impact on the outcome of today's primary. There are more registered independent voters in New Hampshire than Democrats and Republicans. So under state law, any voter can walk into a polling place and choose a primary ballot for any party. State also allows college students from other states, this is fascinating, to vote as long as they don't vote anywhere else. So now to some of the most sought-after voters, the young people and the undecideds, where on the GOP side, new poll finds, well, they're 30%, but other polls have them at 40 and 50. Plus, as Mike Emanuel reported earlier, there's a lot of interest in folks living in that town of Laconia, because that area has chosen both the eventual Republican and Democratic winners since 2000. My next guests fall into all three categories. Nicholas Shastani and Dan Rompre, both undecided, Laconia high school students. Great to have you both on The Real Story.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so let me start with you, Nicholas. I know that you are undecided. You're a high school student. This is going to be your first election. So why are you still undecided?
Well, it seems to me like there's a very large choice in the candidates. I'm also registered as an independent voter at the moment, so it's just hard for me to choose which party I'm going for, where on the Democratic side you have the frontrunners of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and on the Republican side you have the frontrunners right now in New Hampshire is tied between John Kasich, Donald Trump, and Ted Cruz. Then you kind of have Marco Rubio trailing behind a little ways, and Chris Christie trailing behind him. Yeah,
Trump's actually much further ahead than Kasich right now. But I got to ask you then, how do you decide who you end up voting for? Because you might go for Kasich or Sanders. Aren't they totally different candidates?
Yes, they are, and it's just a matter of perception for me of choosing whether I go Republican or Democrat, and I'm leaning farther towards Kasich at the moment.
Why?
Just because of the way he's conducted his campaign. He hasn't tried to slander anyone. He hasn't tried to point fingers at anyone and say you're doing this wrong. He's very upbeat, and he likes not to talk about people's bad sides, but what people are good at. And he kind of just holds small meetings, town meetings, and tries to know the people that he's trying to get to vote for him.
Okay, now Dan, it's my understanding that you are also undecided, and that you are also looking at Kasich and Bernie Sanders. I mean, the last time I checked, there's a whole bunch of stuff different between a self-proclaimed socialist and a Republican.
Yeah, that's right. I like to think of myself as a political moderate. I like to think things to be balanced, and for them, especially for the way I feel about things, especially in regards of immigration and such like that, they both support my sort of view on that. Even though they have different views of that, they're more focused on things that are more domestic, like balancing the budget and bringing college to students and stuff.
Okay, so I guess when you guys get out into the real world and you start paying taxes, then you'll understand how different they actually are. Right, Dan?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I do work now, so I do pay taxes, but yeah, I guess it'll be bigger once I actually get out into the real world.
Okay, so between the two of you, Nick and Dan, what's it going to take when you go to vote in Laconia? Are you just going to decide right then and there? Dan?
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, this is our day, right?
Yeah.
So I suppose on my time going home from this evening, or from this interview, perhaps I'll figure out who I want to vote for. I got to do a lot of thinking, and I don't have that much of a time to think about it.
You don't? Time's running out. Nick, I think you got about 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Alrighty, so that certainly puts a time frame on it. All right, guys. Well, all the best. Thanks for being part of the system. It's really important that young people are involved. So thanks for being on The Real Story.